Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Well, I'm Chewy Mew. Welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video where today I don't have a lot of water in this bottle, but I'm going to drink it anyway. And that is because, well, it's not because, I'm going to be taking a look at some Spider-Man figures today, believe it or not. Actually, no, it's kind of going to be just a one figure today, and that is the Toybiz The Amazing Spider-Man Hobgoblin figure. And here he is, and you may notice something, don't mind that stain, but that is that he has a cloth cape, which, you know, looks pretty cool. His original cape is this, which I don't think it's bad. I think it gets the job done. I think it's better than most Hasbro capes because this is actually, you know, squishy, gooey plastic, so when you move the figure, it gets out of the way. You know, compare that to most Hasbro figures. You know, I have the Doctor Doom figure, which a lot of people like, and his cape, it is still squishy, gooey, but this is just... This is a bit harder to actually bend. So you have him in some kind of, if you have him in some kind of pose or some kind of display or whatever where you need his cape to be kind of like bent to be out of the way. Got like some paint here on his shoulder, that's weird. This cape is a lot squishier. This one does have a textured detail on it. This one does not. It just has, you know, better paint wash on it. It is dirty in parts because this is kind of old. But this one is not as squishy. They should make their capes out of this squishy material, but Hasbro can't seem to make proper material out of figures, especially on parts that should be pliable. And I made a custom cape. I still like this one. Let's swap this. By the way, for future reference, if you do make a custom cape or you want to take this guy's head off, boil it. Probably don't just rip his head off like a barbarian like I did. I did actually boil this figure. Actually used a hairdryer. I didn't boil it this time. And then I sanded down the pin a little bit, so that way I can swap the head on. And this is what the cape looks like. He looks good with this cape. Plastic capes do look good, but ever since I saw it was actually a Toy Shiz review. Shout out to Toy Shiz. He reviewed the new retro, or not new, it's like a year old, I think. That's not really old, though. Like the retro 2022 Hobgoblin figure that is basically just Bucky cap with slightly different modified body parts. Did the head go in all the way? I don't know. I think I might have sanded it down a bit much, that now it's hard to tell that if it went down all the way or not. But this cape does look good. Obviously, you can see it's... I don't think his head went down all the way. Hang on. Okay, so I guess that's as low as his head sits down. I don't feel like it looks sticking up. I think because this other cape gets rid of this space here. I don't know. To me it looks weird. See now that I have like this the plastic one on, it looks kind of weird. This also is I don't know, it feels like it looks awkward on it now. See, that's what having a cloth does to you. It makes plastic ones look weird. I don't know. I feel like it's not standing up straight. But either way, stop leaning over, dude. Yeah, this one offers quite a bit of balance, I feel like. All that work to just put him back down. I did spill some glue on here, but it doesn't look the best on the underside. But I can always just flip it over depending on what side it's looking at. So the way I did this was I just cut a sheet of... I was with a sheet of paper. No, it's not paper. This is fabric. I actually got it at Hobby Lobby. I didn't get like a huge amount of it. Actually, this is quite a bit though. I don't remember the measurements for it. I actually have the receipt here, which they show you it's 1/4 of a yard. A yard is 3 feet, which is about 3 meters. It says it's $10, but I paid $2.50. I don't know why it says that it's originally $9. Maybe because I didn't get a lot. But either way, I used it. I roughly copied this shape. I'm not going to do a tutorial. I might do a tutorial on this eventually, but basically what I did was, you see how his cape has creases on it? It has like artificial creases sculpted in so that way it looks kind of wavy instead of just looking like a big chunk of plastic on his back. I measured all of this, including all these grooves and stuff like this. I measured it, and then after measuring that, I added about like an extra like 2 centimeters on both sides, and then on the top I also added 2 centimeters here as well. That way, because the way I had to do this is I super glued a wire along the inside of it, and then I used fabric adhesive to adhere, believe it or not, the fabric to itself, so now it has this effect. Yeah, this doesn't look the cleanest here on the sides. Obviously, if you get one of these like commissioned and someone made one of these for you, or obviously official ones, they don't look like this. This was also the first one that I did in this style. I did make one for my custom Prowler, which is just me taking a wire and wiring it through like this, like stitching it through it. This one is actually super glued on. In order to get rid of this sort of look to it, I could have glued another piece of fabric over top of it, but it works. And after having this one on, I feel like having the plastic cape just looks kind of weird. Obviously it's not perfect. It does look a bit big, but I feel like having the cape look a bit big works pretty good. I'm trying to get his head on. I guess that is as far down as it goes. I swear the head's supposed to go on lower. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Let's straighten out his joints here. Unfortunately, this knee here is kind of loose. This knee is, his right knee is slightly kind of messed up a little bit. But there we go. And so if he's standing on the ground, the cape does look like it's kind of raised a little bit. But yeah, you can see how cool. I think that looks pretty cool, you know? I think it's a pretty cool looking cape. It still does attach the way the other one does, where you just, you know, put his head through this loop here. And then boom, there you go. And it being, you know, posable, you can have it having a wire in it. People always say bendy wire, which, I mean, most wire is bendy. The only wire that isn't bendy is like electrical wire for like, you know, an outlet or something, or like that kind of wire. Most wire is bendable, so that's like saying like oh, we're gonna get like fluid water. It's like, yeah, that's how most water is, unless it's like frozen or mist, then it's not fluid, you know. Or like saying, oh, we're gonna get some solid water. It's like, you know, it's weird. So as far as that goes, I think it looks pretty cool. Like the pose you saw when I had him, the pose I had him on when he was on the glider, it looks pretty cool. You can have the cape, you can have the, I was gonna say the cage, you can have the cape like, you know, flying in the wind like at different angles. Obviously when he's on the glider it looks better, but I think this looks really cool. And now after having a fabric cape like this, I feel like the plastic one looks kind of weird. You know, the good thing for me is most Spider-Man characters don't have capes. If I quickly like make a scan around my room, the other ones that have it is like Hobgoblin, Demogoblin, Prowler, and that's honestly, and also Mysterio, which I also made a cape for Mysterio. His is a little bit shorter than Hobgoblin's. But yeah, those are I pretty much only have like 4 characters that actually have capes. So, and all of them actually already have fabric capes too, which I just think it looks cooler. It does give it a little more premium feel. And if you didn't already think this, if you didn't already know that this one is better than the either Hasbro version, any Hasbro version, this definitely puts it over the edge now. You know, a lot of people prefer this over Hasbro, like I do as well, because, you know, articulation is roughly the same. He can do the splits a bit more. He has obviously more sculpting, more paint wash detail. The face is unrivaled. Hasbro cannot beat a face like this. You know, people complain about Toybiz for having bad faces. That's mostly female faces. I have a theory as to why that is, why most female faces look bad by Toybiz. But this one, when it comes to like Spider-Man villains and like monster-looking characters, Toybiz nailed it nearly every single time. Like all the Venom head sculpts look phenomenal. All the Goblin head sculpts look phenomenal for one way or another. And then I also like the ball joint arms and legs. To me, that's just something I like. The sculpting here on the gloves, the wash he has on the belt. The belt looks cool. The bag is not reused from any other figure. And he does have these really good ankle pivots. These are some of the best ankle pivots. These are probably, for me, these are better than Hasbro ankle pivots. He has the toe joint so you can hook him on his glider. His glider isn't crap either. This is also an original sculpt. And now having this fabric coat, which, yes, it's not part of the figure. This is a custom. It doesn't count as part of him. But having this pushes him even higher. You know, like, the base figure, even with this cape, is still better than the Hasbro one. But having this puts him higher. You put a fabric cape like this on the Hasbro version, it's going to elevate it. But the glider is also incredibly important, too. And this glider is phenomenal. Well, the one thing I changed was, I don't know if I did it in my review when I originally reviewed him. But this one, I got it at, I got it on eBay. Was it eBay? Or was it at Toys R Us? Because one thing, my Toys R Us, fortunately, it closed down like all Toys R Us's. Unfortunately, I said fortunately. You know, unfortunately, it closed down like all the other Toys R Us stores in the U.S. There's some in Canada still, and I think some in the U.K. But either way, that one would sometimes have like older toys and older stuff like on sale. Basically, I don't know how they did it, but like it was kind of like a thrift store in a way. That's also how I got aerial flipping Spider-Man. I got him for like $11 used. He was basically just like this at Target, like in a bag. You know, kind of like Goodwill or like a thrift store where they have like bags of toys. Like, you know, they have like a toy section, but it's used toys because that's how it is. That's how it was here. I don't remember if I got him like this or I got him on eBay. It was like around 2016, 2017-ish. So I've had him for a while though. But what I did was, he did have wheels here. I don't remember if on my original review I took the wheels off, but he had wheels. And because I guess my desk is slightly, like, it's not completely level, it would sometimes move like this a little bit. Or no, not on my desk, on this shelf here. This shelf, I guess, is slightly not even, because sometimes I'd put him up here and he would slowly creep down and then he'd fall off, and it would scare me because I see, you know, a big orange thing falling off my shelf. So I took the wheels off because they did work good. Like, you'd push them and he would, like, you know, spin around and stuff. That's a cool gimmick that you can actually remove it. It's not a gimmick that has, like, light up effects or, like, it makes weird noises or something, or it shoots missiles. Like, if it would shoot this head or something. It's an effect, or it's like a gimmick that you could just remove if you don't like it, you know? I threw him in my fodder box just so I can have, you know, I can put it back on if, for whatever reason. Then you can also adjust this, and you even get a stand for the glider. It does have these holes on it, which when you put it on the ground, it's fine. If you don't have the flight stand, it's still good. But just having this with this nice detail and stuff on here just elevates it even more. And then having this effect, you can pose around. So, you know, if you have it posed, for example, you have it posed to, like, to Hobgoblin's right, and you hook them here on the glider, you can have a Hobgoblin positioned in a, like, how would you do this? If you're, because you're going to the left, if the booster is kind of pointing to the right. So, I'm trying to get him to pose on here. This cape does kind of get in the way a little bit. Like, one of the pose, like I had him at the start of the video, some kind of pose where he's, like, grabbing onto this pumpkin bomb in the air, and then the cape is kind of like like flying this way. Trying to get it to, you know, the cape is kind of flying this way. You can have it kind of, okay. I'm kind of just rushing this. If I were to take my time like the original pose, I could probably do better. I like to have him kind of grabbing this part. You know, if you're having some kind of pose like this, you know, just don't set your cape on fire. Hoblin. As a kid, I called him Hoblin for short. Like, if I would, like, write his name down or something, I would write Hoblin instead of Hobgoblin, just, you know, for shorter. Like, kind of like people call Spider-Man, like, SM, like, if you put, like, an abbreviation. But either way, I think that looks cool. The original pose I did, I think, looks probably cooler. But yeah, that's a custom cape for I was going to say Hasbro. No, it could work for Hasbro. A custom cape for Hobgoblin here, which I think it looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I really do like this cape. I think it does elevate this figure more. Like, the only other improvement I could do would be, I mean, I guess, like, removing the pumpkin bomb, which I did remove it for Onslaught Green Goblin. I didn't remove it for this guy, but either way, that's over this video. Let me think about this custom cape and just this figure, you know? But either way, that's over this video. I will see you guys in the next review. Wow.